Hi everyone, my name is Oscar. I'm a grade 12 student at St. George's, and I'm interested in how we can use civil and computer engineering to solve modern sustainability problems. I'm also interested in various sustainable indigenous practices that I learned about in school. So wanting to see the action for myself and to gain some inspiration, I joined the I joined the Clam Garden production team as the main editor. Okay. Are the slides there? Okay, so first off, what is a clam garden? Does anyone know? Not a lot of people here, but basically clam gardens are ancient intertidal features constructed by coastal First Nations of BC and Native Americans of Washington State and Alaska. They were built to enhance shellfish productivity and to feed the people. And they use techniques and practices that facilitate the production of culturally important foods while maintaining the balance of marine ecosystems. These practices are encompassed within age-old social, economic, and spiritual beliefs and practices of coastal First Peoples. And they are a prime example of sustainable agriculture. Now, what is our involvement in this? So our involvement is first to learn about the clam gardens so we can use them in our use the knowledge in our future endeavors. And second, to create a documentary that educates the public on these clam gardens. With the support of Parks Canada, Hosenich, Leadership Council Society, and other organizations in the future, this project will invariably cultivate new generations of environmental stewards. Without further ado, here is the documentary.
Inspired by the First People's short story, Goodbye Snook, members of Green Futures organization became intrigued when they came across the article, An Underwater Mystery of Canada's Coast, under the BBC travel column. Indigenous peoples have been building clam gardens for at least 3,500 years. Daniel, Peter, and Ted embarked on an expedition to see the clam gardens for themselves.
Hi, Erica.
Hi.
How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this work for 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah, 3 years. 3 years tomorrow, I think. Yeah. In the past, what First Nations did is they would modify a beach to make it better for butter clams, because they like butter clams, because you saw they're big, right? We have relationships with them, I guess. So I have a team of 2 staff, and then we work with the Hosanich Nations here and Cowichan Nations at Moorup Island, and they come together and we work together on making decisions on what we're going to do. You know, they are in First Nations stories. They are their relatives. They're their ancestors, and so it's important that we just respect that relationship.
So all the Gulf Islands, the ones you've been going on, were once our village sites where we gathered. You see the clam beds. Again, I welcome you, and I hope that you learn something from the land. And we're taught to respect the land. It provides for us, and that's our cultural teaching. So we're taught every living being on this earth has a spirit, a soul, as people say, but it's a spirit inside us that helps us live. So it determines how we live, and once we cross on the other side, we just spirit form.
The speedboat took them to Russell Island, a restorative nature reserve not open to the public, with an invitation from the Indigenous community and approval from Parks Canada.
All right, so we are here at one of the very important sites for our First Nations people. This is a clam garden. this is a really good spot for clams to grow because we have a sheltered area. So clams are like people. They like to be warm and sheltered. They don't want to be in the big waves. They don't want to be in very intense areas where the sea is very rough. They want to be where it's calm. So this beach here is naturally here, but the reason it's really good for clams and has a lot of sand here is because the First Nations people built a rock wall here, and this rock wall, by being here, protects the sand from getting washed out and going to deeper water. So it creates more habitat for the clams to grow. So more sand means more clams. When the rock wall is here, it's been shown that clams grow 3 times faster, so the population is 3 times bigger here than it is in other beaches where there's no rock walls. And most of the time the clams are just around 30 centimeters below the sand. So if we start digging here, we're going to find them just around 30 to 40 centimeters below the sand. And all the way from here to the rock wall, this is all clams. So as the tide goes down lower and lower in different times of the year, you can dig further and further out towards the rock wall. And the rock wall has to be repaired, so First Nations people, whenever the tide got low, they would go work on the wall and put the rocks back, ensuring that the wall is not coming down. And that's a very important thing that we're doing out here, is restoring the rock wall and making sure this spot creates that ideal habitat that the First Nations created.
However, it was just the start of a new journey.
Fed by sea and formed by land, under the sun and the moon's command. Feeding the family of woman and man. When the tide goes out, the table is set and the sea served up.
So I'd like to talk about some of my challenges as an editor. Since this was the first big film project I've done, I was working with a lot of footage, and that was very taxing on me to go through all the footage and to pick the best ones, but it's necessary to make a good product. Also was the bad weather. So sometimes there was rain, so we couldn't film, and other times there was wind on the mics, so even though we got really good footage, the audio was unusable, so we had to work around it or scrap it. Another thing was accuracy in representing the indigenous cultures. So that meant the pronunciation, we had to make sure we had the pronunciations of the names correct, and some of the subtitling as well. Despite these challenges, the entire experience was incredibly rewarding, and it taught me patience, precision, and cultural sensitivity. Thank you.